What's up, folks, and welcome to the first ever full metal horror podcast.
Yeah.
This is the podcast where we absolutely live and breathe metal and horror, but are not scared to shit all over both of them. Mike, why did we decide to do this podcast?
Well, we were both, long life horror fans and metal fans, of course, and we just thought, do a podcast, talk about things we absolutely love, horror movies and metal. And because we're both also two stupid assholes, we thought we were just going to shit on it as well. We could piss off a few people, could be fun as well.
That's my thing. Like, I just wanted to always be able to kind of say what I thought about horror films.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't really matter if we piss people off or we make people angry. Like, I've always wanted to be like, okay, this movie was fantastic, but it had some really shitty parts to it. The problem is most of your horror fans are a lot like heavy metal fans, to where they either absolutely fucking love a movie and they won't let you say anything bad about it. You know what I mean?
I hate it. Oh my God.
How could you fucking say that? Yeah. I don't want to do that. I want to take.
And a lot of metal fans are also like, what? You love that movie. You're not a horror fan.
It's the same fucking thing with metal, though. Like, if you really love a band, at least in the metal scene, like, you can't. If you say something bad about the band and you're around true fans of that band, they're going to hate you you're automatic. Like, I fucking hate you. You said something terrible about my favorite band. The truth is, like, there's good parts of everything and there's bad parts of everything. And like, everything deserves an equal amount of props, right?
Exactly.
And I feel like elitists in anything are probably the worst thing to happen to pop culture. Like, ever since the elitists came around with metal or movies or whatever.
I agree with you. That it doesn't matter, what you are, I think what music, what scene or whatever, the elitists are always just, to me, like insanely cringe, and specifically it's also being a metal musician myself, it's like, it's also crazy, how fans and musicians are, because I've been a metal musician myself for, I don't know, almost 20 years, or something around that.
Yeah, it's around 20.
And it's like, every time, with other, metal musicians, an entirely different thing. There are a lot of other things you can say about that, but it's always like, when you're backstage talking about music, it's always kind of like, hey, what kind of music you guys make? Yeah, we make metal. We make metal too. What kind of music do you do? Yeah, well, it's metal with the screaming stuff, and it's kind of like a little bit, a little bit of death, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and that's usually how it is,
Yeah.
But
can we? Well, go ahead.
But when it's like, when you have a discussion with fans,
exactly what I wanted to say.
No, because I remember one thing I had. I was talking to I don't know what it was. It was on some internet platform, maybe some social media platform. I'm not sure. However, I was talking about music with other metal fans, And what I did not know at that time is that several of those people already recognized me from my band, Texas Cornflake Massacre.
Right. Yeah.
Because there were also people I knew personally from, I don't know, from somewhere. However, And then we were talking about music and all that, and sometime the deathcore thing came up. And I was never a fan of deathcore. I never liked it. I liked metalcore, but it says, when it came up to deathcore, it's like, deathcore is really not my thing, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it started. One guy was like, what? How can it be? You're the bass player in a deathcore band, and blah, blah. And they're like, what? No, we're not a deathcore band. Yes, you are. You're a deathcore band.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm like, okay, where does it say that we're deathcore? And then he actually put up descriptions of us, where it said melodic deathcore. And then I remembered.
You, as a member of the band, this guy did this?
What? No, it wasn't. What?
You, as a member of the band, this guy did this?
Yes. I was talking to him. The guy knew I was a member of the band Texas Cornflake Massacre, and he started that discussion with me. And it was like, because the thing was because on the internet, we were officially listed as a melodic deathcore band. But the thing was, when we signed our record label back in 2015, well, our record contract back in 2000.
This was back before I was with these guys.
Yeah, that was long before Matt.
Well before me.
Yeah, just for people who don't know, Matt is actually the lead singer of Texas Cornflake Massacre.
They know that.
I mean, this was long before he was in the band, like 2000.
I want to say I wasn't part of this train wreck that you're talking about right now.
No, that's the thing, how it came to the melodic deathcore thing. The thing was, we signed our record contract, you know? And then our record label was like, oh, yeah, what kind of music do you guys do? You know? And we were like, yeah, it's kind of metalcore, melodic death metal, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but we have to know what kind of specific type it is because blah, blah, blah. No? So then we were like, okay, whatever. Then we just started looking shit up and we said, like, melodic deathcore, that's nice. Okay, put that in. And none of us knew what the fuck melodic deathcore was.
This is the thing, dude. I was having, like, I want to say it was like one of the early Midgardswood festivals, maybe like 2016 or something. I got in a conversation with one guy who actually turns out to be one of my good friends now. But at the time we were having the conversation and he was like, oh, you know, this band, they're definitely this, and this band is definitely this. And, you know, it fits in this hole, like the square peg fits in the square hole and the circle peg fits in the circle. And I was like, you know what, man? I don't know enough musicians at this point in my life. I think at that time I was probably like 37 or whatever. I was like, I know enough musicians at this time in my life to know that none of them give a fuck what genre they are. They don't sit around talking about when they create music like, you know, a deathcore band wouldn't do this, or, you know, a black metal band wouldn't do this. That just doesn't. No, it stifles creativity. So when you go to a band and you talk about, oh man, you guys are so great. I love the fact that you guys are true death metal, or that you're true black metal, or that you stick to the grindcore mold. Most of them, if they're a musician that are worth their salt, don't give a fuck about that at all.
Yeah, the most don't. I mean, there are a few, of course. You know, I mean,
but I mean, they're just as bad as the fans, and their music sucks. I'm sorry, but
Manowar. I mean, we're true metal.
Okay, I mean,
but
Manowar is a little bit different. I mean, they have a specific thing that they do, and that's kind of their niche. You know what I mean?
I
can't mess with that. It's kind of like, have you heard of the band Brothers of Metal? Dude, I fucking love it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so over the top.
Yeah.
There's no way you can take it seriously. And if they tried to do something serious, everybody would hate it.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, the thing is, because that's what's cool about that band. I only know one or two songs of them, as music videos.
It's so many good ones, dude.
It's so fucking stupid and hilarious. That's what just makes it special.
Right.
What I just find kind of is a little bit cringe, you know, is when you have bands like there's a band called All for Metal, you know.
I know those guys, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like, they mean that serious, you know.
Of course.
Like, and you see them on stage, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, the singer looks like, I don't know, like he's a steroid junkie.
Yeah.
And he has like this thing that makes him look like He-Man, you know. And I'm not sure why or whatever, but I think I got blocked out of some discussion or group or whatever, because I wrote a comment down right beneath one of their videos by The Power of Grayskull. Yes. I'm not sure.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's the way the band is, and I know what they look like, so that's fucking hilarious, dude.
A lot of people got super fucking pissed.
So, just a small side note, metal fans are very easily offended, guys. If you're a metalhead and you're listening to this podcast,
I could be asking.
I mean, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly. You know what was hilarious? You know, I mean, there were certain groups. It was so easy to trigger them. It was fucking hilarious. I had once a shitstorm going on for like multiple days. You know, me and Stefan. It was fucking. You know what I did? I went into a metal fan group. It was just a metal fan group, and it just typed in the word as a post, metalcore.
Okay.
That's it. Nothing else. Just
metalcore.
No smileys or anything that I like it. Just metalcore. That was like back in 2014, 2015.
Jesus Christ.
But however, God damn it, that pissed off so much people. That was a shitstorm that went on for 4 to 5 days. You know, they were all like fucking brutally insulting me. Like, I mean, I got death threats and rape threats and everything or whatever, you know. And I don't know, the people apparently thought they were going to really, I don't know, try to hurt me or whatever. I was sitting at home laughing my ass off.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
yeah. That's the thing, though, man. I think like elitism in metal is kind of a poison.
Well,
like, I guess maybe it's like the younger crowd kind of thing to like really be into something and like be like, oh, this is true this or true that, or, you know,
yeah,
whatever. But as you get older, you realize that like, dude, like we're all working long fucking jobs during the day and we all have bills to pay. So when you go to a show or you go to a festival, you're there to have fun. Like you're not there to sit and talk about how like true something is.
Yeah.
Or how like righteous a type of metal is.
But also,
like, grow the fuck up, guys. Seriously, grow up. Enjoy the scene for what it is.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, definitely appreciate good musicianship because there's a lot of really fucking great musicians out there that really pour their heart into this stuff.
Yeah, well, the thing with
none of it is meant to be taken seriously. It's just not.
Yeah, well, the thing with elitism is, I think it depends to a certain degree. I would not necessarily say it's bad. You know, it just gets like to the point when it becomes like, you know, your entire personality. You know, and to the point where it's like, you know, if somebody like a certain band that you don't like, or likes a specific metal kind that you don't like, and you say that's not real metal. No, I mean, the thing is also when, you know, when a lot of metal bands started to use synth and keyboards, you know, and specifically a lot of.
Well, you're going back to like the early fucking 90s there.
Yeah, I know, but still, but even with metalcore, you know, there was a similar thing going on, you know, when a lot of metalcore bands started using synths. And
what metalcore bands use synth?
Damn it, pretty much all of them. You know, Attack.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, no, you're right. Yeah.
Attack, all of the early 2000s, 2010 metalcore bands, it was full of that. Yeah. That was metalcore.
I guess I just never noticed it, but at that time I wasn't like a musician, so I wasn't really looking for like certain parts of the music.
Well, but the thing is, the thing is, you know, because when you have like certain things that weren't in metal before, you always had a certain group of people who were like, oh, that's not real metalcore. Oh, that's not real death metal. No. No, but basically it's like, it's the same explanation is if you take a cat, for example, and you put a hat on the cat, no? The cat does not stop being a cat. It is just now a cat wearing a hat. Get the point?
Dude. Okay. No, that's actually a great analogy. I dig that. I remember like, okay. And after this story, we'll start talking about the movie because people are going to think this is just like a metal podcast.
We've been talking about for 13 minutes.
Yeah. I remember I was at, it was in the States and it was in Topeka, Kansas. And I think it was like, maybe like 2008, maybe 2007. I can't remember, but, Behemoth played with Lamb of God. Right. And the other band that played with them was Hatebreed. So I'm not a fucking Hatebreed fan. I can't stand Hatebreed. Like, even when I was really young, I was like, this is just not my kind of music. It's fucking ridiculous, whatever. Not to say it's a bad band. I mean, those guys definitely have some talent in the band. But I remember, like, the first band that played was those guys. And I was so hyped for the Behemoth show. And I was so hyped for the Lamb of God show. I didn't give a shit. So, I mean, I went forward and I watched Hatebreed. Why the fuck not? I mean, it's a free show. I'm going to go watch Hatebreed. And there's this guy, and I think maybe he was a little bit younger than me at the time, and he stood next to me, and I was probably right in front of the mosh pit. Like, I could see everybody moshing. And he was like, dude, this band fucking sucks. This band fucking sucks. And I was like, I didn't really say anything. I was like, oh, it's one of those fucking guys, you know? Like, I don't like Hatebreed either, but I'm not going to stand here during the show and talk about how much I hate the band. Like, this is fucking stupid. Like, enjoy the energy in the room because it is funny. Like, if you've been to a Hatebreed show, people throw each other around in the mosh pit. Like, it is definitely a hardcore show, you know? Yeah. And that shit's funny. And if you're a metalhead and you're a seasoned metalhead, you learn to enjoy that stuff too. Like, it's funny. And this guy wouldn't shut the fuck up, man. Like, he just kept going, like, I can't believe these people are sitting around here having all this fun watching this fucking, these guys fucking suck. And he got louder and louder and louder. And I noticed he was getting louder, and I kind of looked past him to the right, and there was a bigger guy who was bigger than me. Like I'm 6'3". He was at least like maybe 6'6". Fucking
I mean,
gigantic, dude.
I just want to show you something for that. Like being a musician, I found the perfect meme. No, that pretty much sums that up. No,
okay.
Wait a second.
Are you about to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm about to show my screen exactly. No,
Okay.
You see it? Wait, no. See it?
As a musician, this is the highest compliment you can receive from another musician. It's true, dude. It's true.
Yeah.
I have another story about that face. I'll share later. But
yeah. Okay, good.
It's like, it's for you guys that are not actually watching the podcast and you're listening to it. It's a picture of a kid with like the metal frown on his face. Like he looks pissed off and angry, but it's obviously like a good look. It's like, fuck yeah, this shit is brutal as fuck.
Yeah,
but,
it's like,
okay. So back to the story. The guy to the right of me was a lot bigger than me, and this guy was in between us. And I caught his look, and he was looking at me, and we didn't say anything to each other, but he looked at me, and I looked at him, and it was like, dude, this guy is fucking annoying as shit. Like, I didn't care if he liked Hatebreed or not. I was obviously not liking Hatebreed, but I was there having a good time. But we had this guy in between us that was being a little bitch, just cussing the band out the whole time. He looked at me, I looked at him, and we both put our hands on the back of that dude's back and shoved him straight to the... He like fucking disappeared, like into the pit. Like, don't go to a metal show and go there and start trying to make everybody else feel bad about enjoying.
Yeah, that's also something that I feel. I mean, if you're at a festival or a gig or whatever, and you don't like the opener or the band that's playing further, I mean, you can just walk out and have a cigarette, or drink a beer.
Yeah, dude. Like, just let everybody else have fun. Don't shit on it.
I mean, if everybody else is enjoying the band, I mean, who the fuck cares? Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of the same thing for this podcast. Like, I want to talk about fucking horror movies. I'm going to shit on them, but I'm also going to say a lot of really good things about them because I feel like this is a craft that is not so easy to perfect, and there's a lot of different things that go on behind the scenes that we don't really understand. So the movies might not turn out the way the original idea was for the film. Just understand studios get in the way and they make mistakes, and sometimes films don't turn out being what they're supposed to be. But in the fact that we're shitting on them, we're also praising them and saying, hey, these are the good parts of this film. This is what made this film good overall. Or if it was just a complete fucking turd, we're going to say it was a turd. We're not trying to ruin anybody's fun. By all means, please go watch the movie. If you want to, go watch the movie before we do the podcast. That way you know what the fuck we're talking about. There will be spoilers in this, so we should probably throw that up front. Like, when we talk about a movie, we're going to spoil the shit out of it for you. So if you go on whatever platform we're on and you see the name of the movie we're doing, it might be good to go watch the movie.
Yeah. I was like,
we shit all over it for you because we're going to ruin it.
Yeah, so spoiler warning. Yeah, but the thing is, now we've talked a lot about metal. The movie we wanted to talk about was actually the recent movie that came out in 6th of December, 24.
Yeah.
Werewolves. No, that's the movie. We just watched it. So it's pretty much all fresh in our minds, and
like, we literally just watched it. We came from upstairs. I'd already seen it because I didn't realize that we were probably going to do videos of us watching the film first. Plus, to be honest, dude, like, much like you, I'm a huge fucking werewolf movie fan.
Absolutely.
Like, this has been a thing of mine since I was a kid.
Yeah. That's the thing is, I also, the thing is for me, werewolf, since I was a small kid, my grandma, she was a very big horror fan, and I remember when I was 8 years old, she watched the TV series Werewolf from 1987.
Yeah, dude. Fucking awesome series.
Awesome
series.
I watched that with my grandma, and from that point on, I was like a super werewolf fan.
Early 80s, some of the best practical effects for werewolves that there's been.
Absolutely.
Or none. Like, if you guys haven't seen that series, find it on Plex or wherever and go watch it.
It's amazing.
It's fucking crazy.
One of the best things ever that was made with werewolves. And that what got me in. It was like also, I think a few weeks after that, I watched with my grandma The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys is also a great movie.
That also got me super into vampires, So for me, it was also, I'm a major horror fan, but I've also been a super hardcore fan of werewolves and vampires. You know?
You know what it was for me? My fucking dad and my fucking uncle, when I was 10 years old, decided to let my mom and my aunt go out on a ladies' night. And what do you do with a 10-year-old? You watch a fucking werewolf movie called Silver Bullet.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So this is, if you guys have seen that movie, that is not a movie that you want to watch with a 10-year-old. This is Stephen King's only werewolf film, right? It's his only werewolf film. It was from a short story that he wrote called Cycle of the Werewolf. And the film was loosely based on Cycle of the Werewolf. That movie at 10 years old was terrifying.
I mean, I was thinking is
terrifying.
Well, I didn't watch it until I was a teenager or something around 16, 17. And the thing is, I hated it. I fucking hated it. But the thing is,
when you're older, it's probably not such a great movie. But when you're 10, holy fuck, dude.
Well, different reasons, because I was up until like my 20s. I was like a werewolf elitist. Like all those metal elitists. That is how I was with werewolves. And for God's sake, if the three golden rules of werewolves was broken, I lost my shit. Like they turn by full moon. They're hurt by bullets, and they can only be killed by fire. Basically, they turn on the full moon. They can only be killed by silver bullets, fire, or another werewolf. Those are kind of like the basic.
Yeah, those are the tropes.
The tropes. They're different in like every different werewolf story or whatever. But as a teenager, I was fucking super hardcore about this. And every time I watch a werewolf movie, and if it broke one or two of those rules, I'm like, nah, okay, but.
Well, I mean, with that logic, what's to hate about Silver Bullet? I mean, it follows all the rules.
True. No, well.
It follows all the rules. It does. I mean,
am I thinking of another movie?
You might be thinking of another movie. Because this is the
another one. This
is the film with The Howling breaks a lot of fucking rules about werewolf.
Okay,
yes.
That's true. I mixed up.
That makes up its own book about what a werewolf can do or can't do.
Silver Bullet was the one where the priest, right?
Yes, the priest ends up being the werewolf.
Okay. Then I got
story-wise, fantastic film. Brilliant story-wise. Downfall. Gary Busey was the uncle in that movie.
Yeah.
Gary Busey is a special guy.
I know.
Even back then, really fucking special guy. And
yeah, that's true.
I mean, going back and watching it now, I'm like, God, his acting is atrocious.
Yeah, well, it's a boot for me. The thing is, I don't know. It's just like the Silver Bullet was. Now that I know what movie we're talking,
it
was like, it was like, I don't know. I mean, I watched it. And it was in the 90s sometime. I think the end of
No, man, that was early 80s.
No, when I watched it. When you
watched it. Okay, yeah.
When I watched it was the end of the 90s, no?
Okay.
When I watched it and I was like, eh.
Well, I mean, in terms of like being an older person watching the movie, it had some good points to it, but for the most part, I was 10 and I think it was the first ever horror movie I saw where you didn't really see the creature, because at this time I hadn't seen Alien yet. Right?
Yeah.
So during the movie, you never see the werewolf until the end. So you just get this POV from the werewolf as he's dismembering people and murdering pregnant women and all these things. And for a 10-year-old, it was horrifying.
I can imagine.
Absolutely fucking horrifying.
Yeah, but we want to talk about the movie Werewolves, right?
Okay, so this is going to happen, guys. We're going to go off on a tangent, but I mean, that's what happens when you're a fan of anything.
To start out, I mean, to all that knows about the movie, or probably a lot of people, it's basically the Purge with werewolves. It's like a supermoon that came and it turned like everybody that looks into the moonlight turns into basically werewolves. And now the supermoon is coming back and they're all getting prepared and blah, 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 blah.
Dude, the concept for the movie itself is brilliant. I mean,
yes.
If you add any science to it at all, it loses all illusion. Just don't do that. Just
generally. Say that generally, if you watch anything that's fiction, doesn't matter if it's horror, if it's science fiction, or if it's fantasy. I mean, don't apply science or real world logic to it.
No. I mean, this film tries. I'll give it credit. It tries really hard to add kind of a science edge to things. It's talking about it talks a few times about what the disease is, if it's viral, if it's
but
if it's airborne, if it's something like that. But
exactly,
the supermoon causes people to turn into werewolves, and it happened one time. By the time we see this movie, it's happened once. A supermoon showed up, and it turned a bunch of people into werewolves, right?
Exactly.
And this is now a year later.
Well, it's happening the second time.
Yeah, second time.
It's happened the second time, and the funny thing is, it's happened the second time. Governments worldwide, basically know this shit is going to go down, but Tada decided apparently to do literally almost nothing.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. So a suspension of disbelief would be really good, because growing up in Mobile, Alabama, if this had happened, I'm pretty sure every block in that town would have been fortified to the nines after a year, to where it didn't matter if it was God fucking Zilla. He would not have gotten into a house.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not going to happen.
Even if you want to consider it that way, even that, I guarantee you, if they knew what caused it, the most people would probably not stay at home. They would have like some kind of bunker thing or health center like it is with hurricanes or tornadoes. And all people would go there and they would fucking like fortify everything, close the doors, close the windows. Everybody would basically go to bed,
Yeah. You would be super fucking quiet. You would be quiet.
That's exactly.
Because how long does night last? Right.
Depending on where you are, 6 to 9 hours.
Right. So for 6 to 9 hours, all you would really have to do to stay safe would be to just stay in your house, be quiet. You wouldn't even have to fortify anything. Just lock your fucking doors, be quiet, maybe give yourself a trank or something, and just go to sleep. Because the werewolves are not going to come knocking down your house if you're not making noise and there's no lights on.
Exactly.
As we see in the film.
Yeah, well, it depends. The thing is, depends on what werewolf movie story we're talking about. Yep. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking like real world scenario.
Ja, Stefan, geh weg.
So our drummer is also here.
He is here also
with things to say. Unfortunately, he does not speak any English, so we'll have to translate if he has to interject. He did just watch the film with us.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me get this out of the way, because we kind of have to do this as far as like who's in the film. So main character is actor Frank Grillo, and he plays Wesley, right? So he's the main character.
Was it Wesley or Leslie?
It's Wesley.
Because I just remember him as the soldier, a molecular biologist guy that somehow does things.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember. I didn't remember.
There's a lot of great things about this film. Like, there's a lot of great setup about this film, but there's some things for me that just fall into place way too easy, and that's one of them. So he is a soldier. We find that out very soon, like early on in the film. Him and his brother were both army soldiers in Iraq or Afghanistan. We're not told which war, but they were both soldiers. They've either, I would assume by their age, they didn't retire like I did, but they got out of the army and then came back home and are now doing normal jobs. His brother was a firefighter. We find out that obviously his brother died in a fire as a firefighter.
Yeah, pretty much early on, though.
Leaving his wife and his young daughter by themselves in this house. And I'm assuming this happened before this first supermoon happened. So he was probably dead, and then the supermoon happened, and there's werewolves. His brother, who is Wesley, was also in the army, like I said, and then retired, but is now staying home taking care of his brother's wife and daughter after the supermoon incident.
Yeah.
And so that's where we pick up. The funny thing about that is this guy was an enlisted soldier, but, is also a molecular biologist.
Yes. Yeah. That's, I mean, okay.
I had so much time to be a molecular biologist while I was serving.
I mean, it's easy. All you have to do is study like how much, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
full time while you're doing a full-time job as a soldier. That's not
a molecular biologist. First, you have to do like the basic biology thing, and then you can go on to molecular and microbiology, and then the molecular biology.
Right.
But I'm not sure. But
it's not like you just say, "Hey, I think I'm going to be a molecular biologist, so this is what I'm going to do." No, like there's multiple levels of school you have to do to get there, and there's no way you would have been doing that if you were fighting a war in Afghanistan or Iraq.
I know. No, how the hell do you know that? How the hell now? I mean, he could be legally from 9 to 5. He went and go and the war, shot people, and after that, he walked over to the next street, went to college. How do you know that's not possible?
Let's just say, in 24 years of active duty, I've never met a molecular biologist in the Army.
No idea.
There's a Stefan line.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're complete. Yeah. We're complete. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're back in the thing where the main protagonist.
Wait. I got to go through the other actors. Okay. So we got Frank Grillo, who.
Yeah.
He's the main character, Wesley. But interesting, this movie we also said was The Purge, but with werewolves, right?
With werewolves, yeah.
So this is the same actor who was in The Purge.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
He's the same actor from The Purge, right?
Yeah.
Then we got Katrina Law, who's Dr. Amy Chin, who she plays the wife of the dead soldier who Wesley is taking care of, and her dog.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty stupid for a doctor.
We'll get into that too.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's the main scientist in charge of this entire project as well.
No, that's not the wife of his brother.
No, you're right. So I fucked that up. You're right. So Katrina Law is Dr. Amy Chan. She's not the wife of the dead soldier. Okay, so she's the main scientist in charge. Okay. Elfenish Hadera is Lucy Marshall. She was in Baywatch? Holy crap. So that's the wife of the dead firefighter.
He was in Baywatch, okay?
Yeah, I didn't know she was in Baywatch. Holy crap. Okay, whatever. And then we have Lou Diamond Phillips. Did you notice that was him?
Lou Diamond Phillips, the Asian guy. Yeah, I knew that was him.
Diamond Phillips, dude.
I knew that was him. I mean,
I'm just not seeing that. I did not know that was him.
Goddamn
La Bamba in the flesh, bro.
Yeah, I knew that was him.
So he's the main scientist in charge, overseeing the entire program, which we'll talk about the program in a minute. So do you want to talk about exactly what the program is and what's going on and what the point of the movie is?
Yeah, let's talk about this program. Well, the thing is,
okay,
it was pretty much early on in the movie now, like the first 20 minutes. And it's like they had like this scientific program going on because they wanted to figure out, what's causing the werewolf shit. And like you had like this group of scientists, and they have like in this research facility, they have like 3 cages where they're going to lock up a few people.
I think it's 4 cages.
4, yeah.
Because in the cages, we've got an Asian guy who's a doctor who was a werewolf before.
Then we have the frightened black girl. Then
we have the frightened black girl who is a werewolf before but does not want to turn again. She's in a cage.
Yeah. And then we have the one guy that's waiting for it, and then the other guy that's losing his shit because he's so happy that he's going to turn into a werewolf in a few minutes.
Yeah. So there's 2 of those guys. There's 2 of those guys, right? So there's the Asian doctor who doesn't want to turn into a werewolf, but wants to make sure that the serum or the moon screen works.
Yeah.
We've got the frightened black woman who does not want to turn into a werewolf, but she volunteered to be in a cage because she wants to see if this stuff works. We've got a crazy Mexican who wants to turn into a werewolf, right? He really wants to turn into a werewolf. And then we have white trash Wolverine.
Yeah, white trash.
White trash Wolverine. And I say that because he looks just like a white trash Hugh Jackman. Hair and everything from the Wolverine movie. So these 2 guys really want to turn into werewolves, and they're like chomping at the bit the whole time, like, because there's this fucking moon canopy that they have above this building that they're going to open when the supermoon comes out.
Yeah.
So that they can turn, right? And so these 4 people are in these cages waiting to see what happens. But before that happens, they get sprayed down with this stuff called
Moonjuice. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember what I saw.
Dude.
It's something with moon that I remember.
Let me get some of that moon juice, bro.
Yeah, so that's why, just because I don't remember it, I'm gonna call it moon juice.
Okay, we're gonna call it moon juice from now on. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. It's moon juice. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, okay. In the movie, basically, as we said, they're trying out the moon juice because they developed it somehow, and they want to see if it actually prevents the people from turning into werewolves. No?
Right.
So,
but it's effectively sunscreen, right? It's the same concept as sunscreen. It blocks the skin from the moon, right? So did you not get that?
Yeah, moon screen is what it's called.
Moon screen, right? But we're calling it moon juice, dude.
I'm calling it moon juice. Moon juice.
So they spray these guys down with moon juice, so that the moon does not touch their skin, right? And so they're in these cages waiting for this canopy to open up, and the canopy opens, and everything seems fine.
Yeah.
Nothing happens, right? And it's the scientists that are kind of up in their little area overlooking the places where the cages are, and there's this huge sigh of relief from everyone. Oh shit, this stuff works. They're not turning, right? And then what is it? Like 15 minutes go by? Is it 15 minutes of like everybody being happy?
Yeah. In the movie, it's only like a few minutes. Of course, everybody happy. Oh, well, let's do our tests and let's take samples and blah, 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 blah. I mean, but in the movie, like after an hour, the moon juice stops working, and
this hour here, I want to point out that this hour that they're in the cages goes by like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
5 minutes. That's all you get of like happy rejoicing that we haven't turned into werewolves.
Now, and then the Asian guy, then like the Asian guy, he's the first one that starts to turn, and they're like, "Oh, he's turning. Yeah, we have to spray him with the moon juice." No, so they take the machine over right back to him. Put it in front of him.
There's like a machine on a crane that they're moving back and forth between the cages.
Put it in front of this crane, and for some reason, the guy that's operated just decides to run to the other side of the room.
This was the only job. I've practiced for this for an entire year. Let me move the moon juice dispenser to this kit. By the way, I have this Diet Coke that I really want over here, so I'm gonna go get my Diet Coke.
The funny thing about it is there were scientists up in this room watching it, and there were a lot of other, like in front of the cages in their Iron Man, not Iron Man suits, like they have like these. They have like,
the funny thing is those suits that they're wearing in the film are typical government issued hazard suits. Like I've seen these things multiple times in action.
Once they put down the helmets on, it's like Iron Man.
You're Iron Man. Yeah, they've got like the heads-up display that Tony Stark has inside the Iron Man suit.
Yeah,
and it's like kind of moves with their face and everything. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's like we don't have this kind of technology in those suits, dude. Like that's not a thing. Yeah,
that's what makes it funny. Because all the guy had to do was literally put the thing back to the one and spray him with the moon juice. And the funny thing is, it's like, pushes his back and he's like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do? Why you see this Iron Man?
He totally panics.
And he's like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, he's like, idiot, push the fucking button.
Push the fucking button and spray the moon juice, right? Right. The guy completely forgets his role. And like, so that's the thing about horror movies is if there's kind of an unwritten rule that if something can go wrong at a particular instance, it will go wrong, right? Murphy's Law of horror movies is always in effect. Always. So not only does this guy who has probably practiced his role in this for an entire year to make sure that he doesn't fuck this up, not only does he just decide that he's going to walk away from the machine and not spray the moon juice, but they try to close the canopy. Remember this?
Yeah.
They try to close the canopy to cut off the moonlight from reaching these guys, hoping that it will stop their turning into werewolves. And it fucking doesn't work. Like, it closes and you see the moon and it goes, it stops. And I'm like, okay. So in what fucking government scenario does it happen that this canopy has not been tested a million fucking times to make sure this exact thing doesn't happen?
What makes the thing even dumber, I mean, these are scientists, by the way. I mean, they're supposed to be smart.
The smartest of the smartest, right?
And the roof thing jams. What does everybody do? They look up. They all look up. They directly into the moonlight. I mean, it's like, we all know, if you look at this one thing, it's going to turn us into werewolves. So everybody in the booth looks at it.
Yeah. Well, that's my other issue about the film, though. Like, I feel like I'm not sure how this was missed in the writing, but it's never explained that everyone turns into a werewolf. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of like
I mean,
they say at the beginning, and it's actually written in letters. They're like, on this date there was a supermoon. At this time, this many people turned into werewolves. I'm not really sure if it's like a number, but they're like a lot of people were turned into werewolves. Well, that leads me as the viewer to believe that some people are susceptible to this and some people are not.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing. That's the different part of it's never really explained. But it's really even way up front. It was in the trailer, no, and even what it's explained in the movie is like not everybody is acceptable to it, no.
Yeah.
Oh, but even in the movie, in the movie, it came across like everybody that looks at the moon turns into a werewolf. But
Yeah, but I mean, we don't find that out until halfway through the film. So
yeah, but
it's
the thing
kind of
is,
like when you do a horror film or any film at all, you kind of set up
the rule.
you set up the rules about the film, right?
Exactly.
That way, everybody knows going in exactly how things work, because you're dependent on that for the movie to make sense, right? But this film doesn't really establish that.
Yeah,
So the whole time you're wondering, is this guy susceptible to it? Is he going to turn, or is this person going to turn? You don't know. Turns out everybody's susceptible to it.
Yeah, that
would have been good information going into this, right?
Yeah, but still, even still, considering the rest what I was in the movie, it's still not necessarily explained if actually everybody that turned. I mean, the thing is that's one thing that bothered me. You know, like this is happening like in the city and have like all these werewolves or whatever running around. You see barely any people walking around. No, you see barely any blood, and these are werewolves. You know?
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic altogether. This movie was extremely light on blood.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, the thing is, it depends on the movie. I understand if like they want to make it like a little bit like it's only for majors and not full adult, not R-rated. I understand if they don't want to do the kind of blood thing. There are multiple werewolf movies that don't really use much blood. It's fine. No?
Yeah, well, I mean, if your movie doesn't have to rely on gore because of story, then I mean that's fine. Like, there's a lot of horror movies that there's not one drop of blood, but the story's so good and the cinematography's so good. You don't really
that's just
care.
the thing that makes the plot to a certain a little bit dumb. Is you have like this is like in a city, you know, and you have like I don't know, millions of people turn into werewolves. Then of course you have like I don't know how many werewolves running around the city. So these werewolves are going to be slaughtering people. They're going to be ripping people to shreds. And you walk through the city and you barely see any blood anywhere.
You don't.
Yeah.
Like I actually counted them. And I mean, like, this is not going to discourage gorehounds from seeing the film for sure, because I mean, there are some good parts of this film that make it worth it.
Absolutely.
But there are literally 3 death scenes that I can think of that are somewhat gory. That's it. That's 3.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't count them, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, just 3. And for a movie where a supermoon turns an entire population of any given country into werewolves, you would expect people to be getting ripped apart right and left, right?
Exactly. That's like
doesn't happen.
Just like the scene from 30 Days to Night. 30 Days of Night. No, specifically, that's like I expected when I saw the trailer. You know, when you like have the first initial transform scene and have like in Act 1 where basically the big shit goes down. I expected something like that, you know, like the scene of 30 Days of Night where you have like on top where you see blood everywhere and these vampires, you know, like killing people. I expected something like that just with werewolves, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it's like if you have like, that's just kind of, to me, that I thought was kind of off-putting. You have like basically an entire city full of werewolves and it feels like nothing is happening really.
Yeah. That's my major complaint with the film is that this first 30 minutes of the film that we've been talking about was set up so well. It was set up so well. I mean, it like literally got you hyped for the rest of the film. And there's not a whole lot of horror films that have done that. Like, they really hyped this beginning. And all the way up to the time when the werewolves start transforming in the cage, you're like, oh my fucking God,
Yeah,
this is going to be one of the best werewolf films I've ever seen.
And that was the big thing, that kind of turned me down, because it's, for me, one of the most important aspects of a werewolf movie is the first initial transform scene. You know, every werewolf movie has it. I mean, sometimes you have like series, like Underworld is a good example. I have like in the first movie, they have like one initial transform scene where Michael's in this cop car, and everyone after that was kind of like just fast,
Yeah, right.
But it's fun.
But you have to show the initial one that's
exactly. But
breathtaking for every other one to work and matter.
The thing is, in Underworld is an entire series, a story or whatever, so it's not bad. But if you have like this, you have like the way the story is put up, where you have like in this research facility, these tech subjects, but they start turning, that is the initial transform scene, that is kind of like one thing that I do not like is the werewolf transformations are CGI. No?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, for TV shows, I understand it, because they don't have a very high budget or whatever. But it's just like, and if it's made good, it's okay. And the transform scenes themselves are not bad. But what kind of was aggravating to me, you do not actually see one full transform scene in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And that, in a movie...
Not a practical effect is what you mean.
Not necessarily practical effects. I mean, basically...
You're wanting a full transformation is what you're saying?
Full transformation.
Because they kind of did that, but
yeah, but the thing is, what
it was cut up. You know what I mean?
What I didn't like, it rushed through multiple people, transforming into werewolves, like these four different people or whatever.
And it was all CGI.
And it was all CGI, but it was just like, I don't know. I think...
Do you know why that's super frustrating for me?
Why?
Because the rest of the film, after that, the rest of the film is practical effects.
Exactly.
Everything that you see after this transformation part, with the exception of a few scenes, but I mean, they're done tastefully, right?
Yeah.
With the exception of a few scenes, everything else is practical. Everything is animatronic.
Yeah, that's the thing is...
It's brilliant. It's really well done. Like, these are actually some of the better looking werewolves I've seen in films. These guys look good. They look really good.
They do.
And the only other two films in the entire werewolf genre that I can think of that were able to pull this off were Dog Soldiers and American Werewolf in London.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those are the only two. You're not going to change my mind. There is not another werewolf film that does this well. None of them. In my opinion. Like, I think American Werewolf in London and Dog Soldiers.
Yeah.
No CGI. Brilliantly fucking done.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think there's a lot you can say about the movies, but Underworld, they did that also very good. I mean,
CGI though.
Yeah. Of course it's CGI, but the transformations are CGI. Even the fast transformations, you see a full werewolf transformation.
Yeah.
And the werewolves themselves also look great. No?
Yeah. Well, I mean, arguably that film and Van Helsing are the two examples of werewolf films where they do a good job. I mean,
Van Helsing,
with the CGI.
Yeah, it's CGI. It's not bad. It's not that bad if it's CGI. It's just Van Helsing was...
I don't mind CGI, dude. I really don't. If you do CGI, at least do it tastefully to where I don't feel like I'm watching a cartoon. But unfortunately, most movies... they use CGI, the whole time I feel like I'm watching a cartoon because it's uncanny valley the entire time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the films that do it well, like Underworld, like you said,
they
did a great job with the CGI. Like, there's not a time there where I felt like, oh, this is stupid. Like, can I get some practical effects? Like, I was into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's also another, maybe a movie, one we can do a podcast about later on, Skinwalkers. No?
Ooh, I've never seen that.
It's actually, this is a little off topic now. It's also a low budget movie. That's a really good werewolf movie. I liked it. It's
Why have I not seen that? When did that come out?
A long time ago. The early 2000s.
We're talking about like 90s or 2000s?
No, it was 2000s.
Okay.
Sometime between 2000 and 2012, I think.
I haven't seen that one, man. And that's a werewolf film?
It's a werewolf movie.
Holy shit. Okay.
It's actually pretty cool. I mean, the transformations are practical effects.
Yeah.
Werewolves themselves are wearing suits, but they're more like wolfmen. No?
Yeah.
Kind of like that kind. And the basic plot is you have like these two different werewolf tribes that are fighting each other. No? there's like this prophecy that a child will be born and that child will end the werewolf curse. No?
Okay.
And you have like the one tribe that don't want to be werewolves. No, they want to be normal humans again. And they're trying to protect the child. Then you have the other side that love being werewolves and they don't want the curse to end. And the plot is basically about these two werewolf tribes, fighting over this kid. It's actually pretty...
Holy shit, dude. I've never seen that. Is it CGI or is it like mostly practical?
It's mostly practical.
Get the fuck out of here.
Mostly.
Why have I not seen this? Okay, we're doing that one next then, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I had like a whole list of movies that I wanted to kind of do, but I mean, if there's one that I haven't seen yet, which is rare anyway,
yeah, but
I kind of would like to do that.
Maybe I can find it here. Wait a second. No, Skinwalkers. I'm just trying to figure.
I guarantee it's on Plex, bro. I guarantee it's
probably not. Oh yeah, here, Matt. Here, I got it.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
No? Yeah, I got it. Just to show you. Just
hold on to that one. We're gonna do that one next.
Here, no?
Just for our viewers, so that everybody
see my
knows.
picture. Wait. Sit. Conception? No. Okay. I just want to show you.
I can't see shit, dude. I can't see shit.
Yeah, because I have.
Yep. You know what? I've seen that fucking poster. I've seen the poster, but I have not seen the movie. Okay. Because I never gave it a chance because I didn't know it was a werewolf film.
Yeah, I mean, at the first, if you see it the first, you think it's, of course, it's a vampire movie. But because of the title, initially automatically assumed it was a werewolf movie because Skinwalkers, of course, is a very known kind of werewolf legend. No.
Yeah.
That actually comes from Native Americans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like growing up in Mobile, Alabama, we have the Sioux down there, right? But every time that those guys talked about Skinwalkers, because I mean, I went to school with a lot of them and they always talked about this thing. They never talked about werewolves. Skinwalkers were things that were basically like demons that took human form.
Yeah, no,
I think humans or ate humans and stuff like that.
I think it's different depending on whatever. I mean, it was kind of like witches or warlocks or whatever, and they somehow put animal hides on and turn to whatever. But the skinwalkers could turn into different kinds of animals. But of course, one that has stick the most, I mean, of course, to what you read about a lot of stuff is, like wolf. So basically, yeah. So
that makes sense.
It is a werewolf legend. It's one of the legends that is tied historically to werewolves, but skinwalkers were not specifically werewolves. They could turn into other things as well.
Okay. Well, let's do that film next because that sounds badass. I think that's one of those that I just passed over because I didn't know it was a werewolf film. And there's a lot of films that you see a cover for and the cover looks somewhat cheap or it looks like it's trying to make a quick buck, which you know what I'm talking about with horror films. And then you just pass them over. I passed that one over. Okay, real quick, before we go any further. So we were talking about practical effects and we were talking about CGI, right?
Yeah.
So practical effects, the director of this film is Stephen C. Miller, and I'm not really sure what other films he's done.
I think I've looked them up if I find it here. He's done movies like, Extraction, Eternal.
Holy shit, he did...
Eternal, he did. No? Under the Bed, he did Submerged, Silent Night, Escape Plan 2. Those are movies.
Okay. I've seen those. Yeah. Okay, so not a director who hasn't been around a while. Like he knows his shit. He's done good movies. So I'm about to blow your mind, right? So did you grow up watching the Muppets?
Yeah, I don't remember that much of it.
So I was a fan, not just the Muppets, but just in general, Jim Henson, right? So anything Jim Henson did, which he lent most of his craft to movies in the 80s, right? So obviously The Dark Crystal was one of the early ones. So you had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one and the second one, which I don't really care what anybody says. I love the first film. It's fucking great. Like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film.
Of course,
that was all Jim Henson. Yeah.
That was awesome. I don't remember that movie getting hate.
Well, it gets some hate, but I mean, it was Jim Henson is my point, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
he's lent himself to a lot of different films.
I mean, the first Ninja Turtles movie was.
Yeah, I love it. But check this out. Stephen C. Miller, who is the director of this film, emphasized the use of practical effects over digital effects. He collaborated with effects expert Alec Gillis and a team from the Jim Henson Company to create 8-foot-tall animatronic werewolves. So these are 8-foot-tall animatronic werewolves from Jim Henson. That's why it looks so fucking good.
That is like, I have to say, that is like the best part of the movie. The werewolves look freaking awesome. They really look cool.
Yeah. And this is what I wish. This is what I wish directors and studios got to their head, because how many times have you seen CGI look terrible in any of these films, right? But not only that, but this director, he specifically said, and this is a quote, he really wanted to evoke the feel of a classic 80s man in a suit horror film. So he wanted this film to have kind of an 80s werewolf vibe, which thank fucking God, because for me, that was like the savior of this film. Forget about the writing. Yeah. Forget about like the atrocious plot holes in this film. The werewolves look great, dude.
They do. They
look great.
That is the big thing. They really look awesome. Yeah.
Also, it was filmed in Puerto Rico. I would have never guessed that. This film was filmed in Puerto Rico in June of 2022. I would have never guessed that was Puerto Rico. It looks like downtown New York.
Well, I actually didn't really. I don't know. I'm kind of like, a lot of cities all look the same to me.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll give you that. I mean, it very well could have been like downtown Atlanta, and I wouldn't have known the difference.
I don't know. I thought it was somewhere in the States. I mean, if you see like,
I mean, I thought that. I mean, all the actors are American, so obviously it's got to be the States, right?
Exactly. If you see like, if I see like specific buildings or specific land sites, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I know where that is, no? But
look, it's a city.
Yeah, but that's always. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know, but if it's cities, I do not know why. For me, just almost all cities look the fucking same. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they do. No, you're right. I just wouldn't have guessed it was Puerto Rico. I mean, I've never been there, but I mean, I didn't think that Puerto Rico looked like that. But apparently, it looks like the States. So while the exact budget for Werewolves hasn't been publicly disclosed, because I try to get the budget for the film. Every film that we do, I want to get the budget so we can kind of figure out where the money went. Because that's one of the fun things for me. Like, if I know what the budget of the film was and I see the film, I'm like, holy crap, where did that fucking budget go? You know what I mean? So the budget wasn't officially disclosed. The film faced challenges typical of horror productions, especially those involving extensive practical effects. Coordinating intricate animatronics and choreography under difficult conditions was a significant hurdle for the cast and crew. Digital effects were used sparingly to complement the practical effects, ensuring a tangible and menacing presence of the werewolves on screen.
Yeah,
I have to disagree with that, though, man. Like,
yeah, the thing is,
like you mentioned, the transformative sequences just were totally off-putting for me.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the thing is, the initial transform scene. I mean, the other ones, that kind of like happen fast or whatever because it has to happen in the plot. I'm fine with that if they would have CGI, but the initial transform scene is just like,
it's extremely fucking underwhelming, man.
Yeah, it's really underwhelming.
At a time in the film where the atmosphere was already tense.
It's super huge build up, and you're waiting for like this super epic, werewolf. You have like 4 werewolves transforming at the same time, like it was like, I don't know, and it was just like, okay, it happened.
Yeah, well, disappointing as fuck, man.
Yeah, it's like I still can't get over the one guy's like, spray with the Moonjuice. Then he pushes over the machine, the thing, and just steps back from it and like, oh, what am I supposed to do?
That's that plot hole kind of thing that I'm talking about. It's like, okay, so Murphy's Law is supposed to happen in horror films, right? But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you don't have to explain why things happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
could have come up with some crazy reason why this guy did not get the Moonjuice sprayed, but you just didn't.
I mean, if he would have somehow the guy, would have like pushed it back at him and it would hit him in the face. Okay, I understand that. I mean, actually, the funny thing is that actually happens after the guy's already turned into werewolf, he pushed him halfway over the room. Where it's like, okay, that's understandable, but it's just like the guy literally had it in his hands. He just had to put it there and push a button. The guy knew it, by the way. And he just pushes it over there and then lets go and is like, oh shit, what now? Oh,
and I hate that because as someone who loves these movies and these kinds of films, like if you're going to build up to something, it's like, what's the best equivalent of this? Maybe women can understand this. It's like if you've got a guy following you all night and he's promising that he's like the best dude in bed, right? He's the best fucking guy in bed. He's going to nail you to the fucking wall. You're like, I'm kind of tired of listening to this guy. Like, this is getting annoying. It better be good. And you decide to go to bed with him. This would be the equivalent of him finishing in 2 minutes and walking out.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
That's kind of how it feels. Like this part right here, I expected this great, awesome thing because they built up to it. The transformation was absolute garbage. And you didn't explain why things went awry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's
so
like
add insult to injury after this, nothing fucking happens.
Yeah, it's after that. It's like, yeah, that's the big thing. I mean, you have like the whole thing going down, and then all of a sudden the werewolves break out because a light falls up from the ceiling.
Yeah,
that's still what happens. Like, oh my god, these werewolves but they're in these cages. Like in the cages, they look pretty fucking stable.
Yeah,
you know? And you have like,
they're gigantic metal heavy fucking cages.
Yeah, and they have
have to keep this monster inside.
And they have like this light that falls down from the ceiling.
And knocks over the cage.
But the cage is still closed.
Yeah.
And somehow the werewolves break out of. You don't see the werewolves actually hitting against the cage and somehow breaking it out like, oh my god, they're stronger than we thought. No,
all of a sudden they're out of the cage.
Yeah, they're just out of the cage. They're like,
we're not even gonna explain that. They're just out of the cage.
I don't know. And you have like,
did you also notice that after that scene happens, the main scientist female is running down the corridors to get away from this stuff?
Yeah,
she's not really running. She's walking. Like, there's no sense of urgency. But as she's walking down the corridor to get away from these 4 fucking gigantic 8-foot-tall werewolves that are going to destroy everything, fucking lights start exploding.
For no reason whatsoever.
For no reason whatsoever. Just light after light start exploding down the hallway.
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
I wrote that down because I was like, in what scenario does that happen?
In what scenario? Also, it's absolutely unnecessary. I mean, we have to make this more scary. I mean, she has 4 fucking 8-foot-tall werewolves chasing her. You can't get more scarier than...
We have to have exploding lights, but let's not explain that at all.
I mean,
let's not explain the exploding lights.
It has to be scary. We have to make it scary. I mean, the pack of 8-foot-tall werewolves wanting to kill everybody, it's not scary. We have to make like lights explode.
Yeah. The other thing that bugs me about this film, and I don't know if it's just because I'm retired military or not, but have you noticed that all the either absolutely insane people in this film, or the ones that seem to be out to just kill themselves for no reason, are all former military? They're all vets. The crazy guy that lives next door. And by the way, okay.
It's never said that he's a vet, or I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, he is a vet. He's wearing dog tags the whole fucking time, and he's talking about, there's a picture of him and his brother serving in Iraq, right?
Yeah.
So the dog tags, he served in Iraq, and then there's the crazy next door neighbor.
The crazy next door neighbor, yeah.
The crazy next door neighbor has a big USMC tattoo on his right arm, U.S. Marine Corps, right? And so this guy, this blows my fucking mind, because I don't care what happens in this universe. There's no scenario that makes it okay to fire a machine gun in your backyard through a fence where there's people walking on the other side. Did you notice this? This fucking insane Marine is standing in his backyard with an M4. And M4s are not 3-round bursts. You can pull the trigger and it's going to continue to fire.
I just saw a big gun
firing through the fence at these targets. And the next scene, you see children walking by and people walking by. And this fucking maniac is in his backyard spraying an M4 through the fence. And nobody has a problem with this at all.
No.
Did you not notice that?
Yes, I noticed that. I know the one guy, what's his name? Wesley, whatever. No?
Yeah.
He walked up to like, hey, guy, this shit is fucked up. Blah, blah, blah.
That's right. He did. Yeah. He walked up and he was like, hey, man, quit shooting through your fence. My niece is over there. I remember that now.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, we're all soldiers now.
Like, we're all soldiers. That's right. He says, we're all soldiers now, Captain. And Wesley goes, I'm not in the military anymore. Like, how many times are we going to beat everybody over the head that these guys were all in the military?
Yeah,
these guys also ultimately end up being the most insane people in the film too, the entire time.
No, only the crazy neighbor. I mean the Wesley guy. I'm gonna call him.
Why would you live next door to that guy with a daughter? I'm sorry, that's your fucking next door neighbor. Like, you should have moved or called the cops or something. Like, you've got an 8-year-old kid living with you, and this guy is shooting an M4 through his fence, probably daily since the Super and drinking, because he's drinking the whole fucking time too. Anyway, yeah, so that's fucking stupid. I wrote down some notes. Like, the rest of the film, there's really not much that happens. Like, so there's not really any points of contention that I can think of that are really worth mentioning.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there was this one scene, like where you said where you have like that woman that like running away from the werewolves. Yeah. And it's like she has like 8 werewolves behind her, and like people are running and screaming, "Oh my god, wrong guy!" Why? And she's running like da 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 da. And she's just hey! Yeah, it's like, hey, and then you have like the Wesley guy come over, like, oh, blah, because the other guy, the idiot that wasn't capable of pushing the button, he got like his guts ripped open by a werewolf, whatever.
Yeah, the guy who didn't open the moon spray.
Yeah. The guy that didn't open the Moonjuice. Yeah, and however, okay. So then Wesley is carrying I'm dumbass. I'm gonna call him. Is carrying dumbass, through the hallway.
Right.
And then they meet the non-urgency girl.
Right.
And
who's just walking.
Okay. The hallway. Yeah. So Wesley, dumbass, and the non-urgency girl, they walk down the hallway and they want to get into this one room because apparently it's a safe door. It's a safe or whatever. So she holds her card on it. It doesn't work. She holds a card on it. It doesn't work. And the werewolf comes, is basically through the hallway following him. And you have like Wesley is sitting there. Oh shit! It doesn't work. They try that times, and then he just out of nowhere pulls out his card that he had the whole time. I mean,
I noticed that he had the card on him the whole time. Could have opened all the doors.
He scans his card, and then it works. And then they go into this room, and then they close the door, and the werewolf smashes against it a few times or whatever. It doesn't back through, and then somehow blood comes down from underneath the door, even though they were the only people there. There was nobody on the other side of the door where the blood could have came from.
I thought the same thing. You have a giant werewolf banging down the door, and nobody else is left in there to kill. But somehow from underneath the door, it's spewing blood. I was like, what? Was that an editing mistake?
Yeah. No, that was like, that's also one of the scenes that makes it literal. That was the point where I thought, okay, Wesley is supposed to be like this, like typical Ashen guy that can do everything. But that was the thing that proved to me he's a complete fucking idiot. Because you have non-urgency girl and dumbass. They put dumbass on the table and he dies.
Yeah, he dies immediately.
He dies immediately. So he's dead or whatever. And then they're talking like, oh my god, what are we supposed to do now? Blah 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 blah. And the girl and then like, oh, we have to go out because if we stay here, we're going to die. I mean, they clearly already saw that the werewolves could not get into this room.
Right, so they were safe.
The werewolves tried forcefully, 4 werewolves to get into this room
and couldn't get into the room.
So your first thought is, I'm staying here.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Specifically,
I thought the same thing.
Specifically, if it's going to end after one night, and then and then like the non-urgency girl is like, oh my god, what are we supposed to do? And then Wesley's like, we have to get out of here. We have to get out. If we stay here,
of course,
then they're going to break that door down.
And of course, and they spend the next fucking in movie time, it's probably like 20 minutes, but in real time, it's probably more like an hour and a half. They spend that time running down the streets that are full of werewolves to try to find a place to hide
by foot,
and then get back to Wesley's house.
Exactly. That's basically the plot of the rest of the movie.
Did you notice something else?
What?
This is a digital age where everybody has a cell phone, correct? Okay. Why, if it was so important to get from where he was back to his house so that he could protect his dead brother's family, did he not just call and ask, hey, is everything okay there?
Okay, no, I didn't notice that. Yeah.
I mean, people have cell phones. They exist. People are using cell phones in this film. Okay, we're safe in this room right now. There's 4 werewolves who can't get through. let's just run through my house to go see if they're okay. No, you could call them and ask them if everything's, but he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, they would have had to put something in like the cell phones are down, the signal isn't working or some shit like that.
They didn't. They just didn't use the phone and just decided to go straight for the house.
Yeah, somehow the signal.
And she goes with him.
Yeah, she goes with him.
Why?
Yeah, my first thought would have been, I mean, even if it was us in that scenario, no,
yeah,
and you would be like, Mike, we're gonna go out there. I'm like, fuck you.
Like, you had fun, Matt.
Go. Fuck you.
To be honest, my first thought in that scenario would have been like, okay, so where do we keep the beer? Because we're going to be in here a hot minute, dude. I'm not going anywhere. First of all, I would have called home and been like, hey, guys, are you okay? And they would have been like, oh, we're fine here. And I'd be like, okay, I'm going to stay put. What if they said, hey, we're having problems. There's a werewolf outside and he's trying to get in and I think he might. Then I would have been like, okay, let's get to my house.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't have to go with me. You can stay here. And I'll go. But no, it's like an automatic, like, we're going together because we both need to get killed.
That's like the other scene that makes also pretty much every fucking scientist, in this research lab look like a complete fucking idiot. I mean,
that's right. They're scientists. Like
they all know. They all know we have 4 people. They are probably going to turn into werewolves.
So stupid.
So you would logically think they would somehow kind of come up with a safe room where, like, in case, oh shit, they're turning, let's go into this room so we don't get killed. But
right. Well, to be fair,
that's the other
and
thing,
not to go
you have
like way too much off topic. We've got a little bit of lag here. A little bit of lag. It's okay.
A little bit of lag. Yeah, you just stopped talking. Yeah.
No, you stopped talking too, so we got lag. But we're on the same network, so this is fucking weird. Anyway, but okay, so they both decide to leave, which is the stupidest fucking decision humanity's ever made, is to leave this room, right?
Yeah.
So they go and they get into a vehicle and they start charging down the street as fast as they can in this vehicle because there's werewolves following them. Like, there's already werewolves on the street. Do you remember how the car gets stopped? When they have to stop and get out of the car, do you remember what happens?
No.
Okay, so they run in the car and they T-bone a bus.
Exactly. They T-bone a bus.
Tell me why the bus was on the road in the first place and why there was nobody in it and why is it parked in the middle of an intersection?
Yeah.
It's not like this was a scenario where it was end of the world and nobody knew that it was coming. You know what I mean? Like,
everybody knew it was coming.
In an apocalypse scenario, that's nobody would have left a bus in the middle of the street.
Yeah,
right?
that is personally, in my opinion, that is generally the thing that is the biggest problem with the movie. The movie is made basically as it's a sequel to a story that's already happened.
Right. Yeah.
And that's I mean, the thing is, you would expect, of course, you have like, it would have been more interesting. It would have been better if it would have had like, you have this Superman shit going down.
Yeah.
Millions of people, for whatever reason, start turning into werewolves and slaughtering everyone. No?
Right.
And nobody knew what was going down.
Then it would make sense to have a bus in the middle of the fucking intersection.
And also, everything else that everybody's doing in this movie would also make sense because nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, and that's why I'm curious for like all the mayhem that happens in this film. The mayhem that happens in the film happens as if everyone did not expect this to happen.
But they all knew, that's like,
right? But they've known for a year that it's going to happen. And that logic also kind of extends to the way that they have the houses set up, right? So personal houses, for instance, the house that the woman is staying in with her daughter, it's fortified, right? But it's not fortified. There's like a fence on the outside of it. If our drummer Stefan got drunk, he could probably fall into that fence and be on the other side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is supposed to stop like werewolves.
And what, like 8-foot tall fucking werewolves. Yeah.
And what the people do is they nail wooden boards to their windows.
Yeah, because that is going to keep an 8-foot werewolf.
Yeah, that definitely.
Here's my bigger question there, right? So why are we fortifying our houses and staying in our houses when you could have gone to a bunker or maybe some place where it was fortified? No, we're going to stay in our house. All right. And we're going to stay in our house. We're going to turn on all of our lights. We're going to watch movies and play the radio.
Yeah, that's
make fucking popcorn and expect that the werewolves don't know we're in there.
That's like the dumbest thing about this movie. I mean, in this scenario,
is it the dumbest thing about this movie? I don't know, dude. Like, it's pretty dumb. But
in this scenario, if people wanted to survive this night, all they would have to do is let the shutters down, turn off all the lights, and go to bed.
That's it. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, just fucking go to sleep. Be quiet.
If everybody in that movie would have done that, everything would be fine. But the thing is, that's the thing is just like, everybody knew this werewolf mayhem thing has already happened once.
Yeah.
You know, government, scientists, whatever, they all know this shit is going to happen again. You know, it's not like the government people decide to do some kind of, what's it called? When you God, yeah, I can't think of the English term.
What is it in German?
I can't think of the German term.
Dude, you speak 2 languages and you can't think of the words in either language. You're not helping me out here, Mike.
I speak 2 languages on a native level. I can't think of this one word.
I speak 3. I speak German, English, and bad English.
I speak 4. I speak German, English, I speak bad German, and bad English. Yeah, no, I mean, when a catastrophe happens and you have to move everybody out from a specific place.
Evacuation.
Exactly. No? Okay. Maybe I drank too much. That could also be a reason.
You've only had 3 beers, dude. That's not a good excuse. I think you just retarded. Oh, wait, I can't say the R word.
Exactly. They have no government or whatever. Thought of, let's evacuate people. No? Let's bring them to a safe place, to some bunker, whatever, where you can somehow close the doors or whatever, and we're going to prepare some beds, and everybody's going to have a good night's sleep. No? Nobody done that. No? And it just make and it's like literally everybody in this fucking movie, knows millions of people are going to turn into werewolves. What are they doing? That, just like Matt said,
yeah,
they nail wooden boards to their
boards to the walls.
Yeah. And other than that, they act fully normal.
Yeah.
They had all the lights on.
Oh, it's just another day. It's just another day. I'm gonna watch the Smurfs.
Yeah, they're watching TV. The other is like the girl sitting there playing something on a tablet, and there comes literally, I do not know why. This is dumbass number 2, the blonde girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, werewolves going everywhere. She has literally all of her windows open.
Yeah.
Or whatever. All lights on. Has her watching some movie on full volume and is making popcorn.
Yeah. They're not going to know I'm in here.
And she knows.
Why don't you set up some fireworks while you're at it?
While werewolves are running outside. And this is
everybody in this movie does this. I mean, it's not like we see that many people that are barricaded in their homes, but we know it's probably the whole block because every house is barricaded in some way. Right?
And then also, this is something we haven't mentioned yet, but it's like one of the most dumbest things that I have seen in any werewolf movie. No, and it happens pretty much early on. You have the neighbor girl, the blonde girl, that comes over. And then what's her face, whatever her name is, Wesley's sister-in-law. No?
Yeah. What is her fucking name?
I don't know.
I already forgot. Who cares?
Who cares? It's like the black-haired girl. No,
the black-haired girl. The mom.
The mom, exactly. So basically, they have the neighbor blonde girl walks up to the mom and is like, says something I forgot after 5 minutes, and then
she's trying to come in. She's outside of her fortified house at the gate. And she's like, let me in. There's a werewolf.
No. I'm not talking about that scene. I'm talking really super at the beginning, before all the shit goes down. And she's and she comes up and they're talking, this is something I forgot to mention. No? And so I'm just shortly talking about pretty much the beginning of the movie. No? And the blonde girl walks up to the black girl. And then the black girl, the black-haired girl, the mom, gives the blonde girl pepper spray and be safe tonight. And my first thought was, millions of people.
It's all werewolves, dude. What are you
doing?
Yeah.
Like
Pepper spray.
I mean, it's like,
oh my God.
I mean, just imagine, you know, tonight, like millions of people are going to turn into fucking werewolves, and somebody gives me a fucking pepper spray and tells me to be careful.
BB gun. Right?
I mean, no, actually, my first initial thought would be, why go fuck yourself?
Yeah. Are you fucking crazy? What the fuck am I going to do with this?
What?
Like, they should have given her a BB gun. Like, that would have been better, you know?
You could just spray water with them. I mean, pepper spray. I mean, oh, a werewolf is coming at me. Here's my pepper spray.
You're fucked, dude. If you got to use pepper spray, you're already like
that was the thing. That was the thing that I was talking about. And then later on, of course, you know, like the scene that Matt mentioned, you know, like there was like, you have like this blonde girl, whatever, no?
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, all of the lights on, no curtains closed or shutters closed. So pretty much everybody, a normal person, could see that there's something going on in this house.
Yeah.
I don't know, thousands of werewolves running out of the street. Somehow she thinks, they're not going to notice it. No.
Can I throw one thing in there, like real quick?
Yeah.
So we've been bashing this movie so bad, we're already at like an hour and 24 minutes, right? So apologies to everybody. We might not get to like the end of this film or what happens, but you know what? It doesn't matter because it's ridiculous. But I do want to point this out, right? So after these guys smash into that bus and they're trying to make their way back to the house, when they do come in contact with werewolves for the first time, Mike, being a werewolf fan, right? What would you expect werewolves to be doing?
Running around looking for prey and just slashing and ripping everybody apart.
Right.
You know?
So what are these werewolves doing that they come into contact?
They're coming and they're slamming on a fucking car. And the point is,
they're smashing cars.
They're smashing cars. If there was like somebody sitting in the car, I would understand that scene.
Absolutely. That would make perfect sense. But these are empty cars parked on the street. And there's literally 4 werewolves smashing this car for no reason at all. And not only that, but they're so preoccupied with smashing the cars that they don't even notice that these guys crossed their path. Like, these guys literally walk on the other side of the street from where these werewolf maniacs are smashing this car. And they literally like walk right past them. Because these guys are too busy smashing cars, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's like, did they hide underneath the car? No, because somehow the werewolves noticed something was going on.
Yeah.
And then you have like the werewolf going down with his snout, you know, like literally not even 50
he takes his snout and he puts it down to the ground level with where they are underneath the car. So what this tells me, and by the way, he doesn't smell them. And he doesn't see them, which tells me, 1, werewolves can't smell very well, and 2, they don't have peripheral vision.
No. The thing is, that is one scene that where I personally would not say that the werewolf didn't smell them, because the werewolf goes away. But if you remember what happens with later, when they come out of the car, the werewolves didn't go far. In the moment they come
right down the street.
Yeah, they're right. They were literally just like 4 or 5 meters down. So, I mean, it strikes to me as the werewolves knew where they were, no? And they just went away, so those 2 thought they were gone. Like the werewolves basically...
You think that was a werewolf choice?
I think that was to me very clear that the werewolves choose to do that because they wanted to hunt them. Do
you see how that's a stretch for your average viewer, including me? Like, when I watched that scene... Yeah, I watched that scene, that made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
No, I wouldn't say it's not a stretch because they already implied through other scenes that already happened by this movie, by the way, that these werewolves are to a certain degree intelligent. Because you had one werewolf, after he killed the blonde girl, he shoved her against the electric fence.
Yeah.
So clearly these werewolves are intelligent. And of course, werewolves or other animals often hunt in packs. And if you're a werewolf fan, you know that werewolves have like this bloodlust and rage or whatever, and they might just want to hunt a prey down. And considering the fact, I mean, if they would have just came out of the car and the werewolves would have been gone, you know, I would have agreed with you. But it's like they come out of the car immediately. After they come out, the werewolves pop back up and start chasing them.
Okay.
Yeah,
In that case, I can understand it.
yeah,
But from like,
that's the thing. It's not like it's not like it happens.
that's a stretch, though. That's
No,
a
it's not a
stretch.
stretch. It's not a stretch because they come out of the car and immediately the werewolves pop up and race and charge at them. So it was clearly a decision of the werewolves, but I don't think it's a stretch. But however, what I thought was stupid, okay, then they run across the street, no? And you have like these two people, no? Run faster than 4 werewolves, no?
Yeah, that's true.
Then somehow they managed to activate like these kind of fences that are like on malls where they pull down. I don't know what they're called.
They're just like, oh, fuck, I forgot the English word for them, too. It's
Uh,
basically like if you go to a mall and it's like a chain link fence that they pull down in front of the
chain
store.
link fence, right, exactly.
Yeah, they pull it down in front of the store so you can't come in.
Somehow, without a remote control or whatever, the two people running activate the chain link fence. Okay.
Yeah.
So then they fastly go down and the chain link fence goes down.
Behind them
Now,
without them pushing it.
We're talking here about a fucking chain link fence. like a fucking full safety, I don't know, whatever, tank door. No?
Yeah.
It could not break. They couldn't get through.
Right.
No? Of course.
But a chain link fence with an 8-foot tall, 600-pound werewolf.
No, of course. And then all these, it was like, then all of a sudden the werewolves ran against it, banged against it twice. It was like, okay, we tried. Okay, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then the werewolves were gone.
Yeah.
And then
There's so many things in this movie that make absolutely no sense. And I feel like there were choices made that
then you have like this one,
like probably shouldn't have been made, but were done because of like timing on production and stuff like that.
I know. Then there's this one kid that shows up. That's where he's
the Grinch. The Grinch. I wanted to talk about this earlier, but we never got to it because we've been too busy bashing the shit out of them.
No, because this crazy just go through though, because we're not the Grinch scene yet. They have like this one kid that was wearing these weird glasses, and he's like, "Follow me," no. And then
out of nowhere, the little kid, yeah.
Then they follow him and they walk through some corridor that's kind of like a little bit post-apocalyptic shit is wearing around or whatever. And they have like these few group of people that are somehow in this area, don't know what they're doing, don't care, but then they're like,
yeah, but they're wearing fucking gas masks, dude.
They're wearing gas masks. They're like,
why are you wearing a fucking and it's not like a normal military gas mask. They look like fucking goth rave rejects.
You get their goth rejects, but the mask that guy wears, Matt. I mean, I remember that mask. No, you can find, because I was looking, because I was at post-apocalyptic LARPs, right. I was looking for clothes. You can find that mask for like $30 on Amazon.
But it doesn't do anything. It has no functionality.
No, absolutely.
And the guy is wearing it like it has a purpose.
And they have like a talk with these people that are somehow this post-apocalyptic tribe, even though this event only happens one night. So
one night.
So in a few hours, these people managed to secure this area and form this group that have their own rules, own laws, and own culture within about an hour or two. I mean, they're fast, definitely.
Yeah, but and they act like it's the end of the world, and it has been the end of the world for a long time too.
Exactly.
That's the thing that kills me. They're like, well, if you're here, we don't want you here. So if you're trying to get out through the tunnels underneath this place, I will take you there. But after that, you're on your own. Like, you're talking like some dude who's been in this game for like 6 years already. You know what I mean? Like, this is one night. Dude.
One night. And then
you dial it back a little bit.
And then all of a sudden, then the guy says, oh, these tunnels go through the entire city. We can use them to get back to my house or whatever. Okay, so they go through these tunnels. Now, and then they're at this fence. All of a sudden, they can't get through because they need a key. I don't know if they had the key or not, whatever. Then all of a sudden, out of middle fucking nowhere, a werewolf drops down from the ceiling. And
that's right.
This is a tunnel underneath the ground.
Right. So where's this werewolf coming from?
Yeah. Okay. And then you have like the werewolves.
I can't think about that, dude. That's fucking stupid. Oh my god! Why did I not catch that? That is dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
You have like the werewolf smash down this fence with these two or whatever, and then they literally, with no weapons. I mean, they have like 2 guns. They shoot at the gun that does nothing, and then the one guy, the Wesley, starts a fist fight with a werewolf.
This is not the first film that's happened, by the way.
Yeah, but however, okay, Avengers, yeah.
So you like, even in good werewolf movies, you can hold your own with a werewolf in a fist fight. This was proven by Spoon and Dog Soldiers. Do you remember that scene?
What dog soldiers? Dogs do Spoon? Yeah. But the guy
literally beats the shit out of this werewolf with his own fists, man.
Yeah, but
like, it's believable because the guy is just going fucking psycho.
Yeah, but the guy gets slaughtered automatically.
He does, but that's only because another werewolf shows up.
Werewolves are stronger and faster than humans, but it doesn't matter. But however, eventually, somehow, he has some kind of big pole or spear thing. I'm not sure, and he kind of impales the werewolf, and then the werewolf dies. So then they keep on remember this part. Yeah,
I think my mind may have already shut off at this part just because
how
many things have happened up until now.
And then they go, no? Somehow, by the way, they said that these tunnels will lead directly to his house. And then they're in these tunnels, and somehow they go out of the tunnels for some reason that is never explained, but they're out of the tunnels now in the city. And then you have like these then there are these people that are like machine guns shooting down all these werewolves.
Yeah, so this is your local militia, right?
Yeah.
So this is your local militia. This is a part that really bugged the shit out of me. So these guys have, like, I'm always a sucker for weapons and what they are. These guys have some of the most high-tech military weaponry that you can get your hands on. Like, this is stuff that can take down aircraft. And I have to wonder, like, not only and maybe this is a bit of a stretch even thinking this way, right? Because it's a horror film. But one, how did they get $500,000 to buy this weaponry? And then how did they get the rest of the money for all the ammunition that they literally just waste shooting buildings with? Because they shoot buildings with this shit the entire time. I don't think they hit one fucking werewolf.
Yeah, they
were spraying fucking buildings with round after round after round.
They were just randomly shooting at everything except for the fucking werewolves.
Yeah, and the werewolves are just getting by them the whole time. Like, they didn't hit one fucking werewolf. You have this great scene where you had the opportunity to show like a standoff between humans and werewolves that could have been badass.
Yeah.
Like, it very well could have been badass. But you fucking wasted it because all they do is shoot at buildings.
However,
they're the dumbest fucking militia ever. Like, they're worse than the Alabama National Guard, dude. These guys suck. They didn't hit anything. And then, like, not only that, but if you are a militia, you have a little bit of an idea of military tactics. Like, that is part of being a militia. These guys are all standing in one area, not even a wedge formation, shooting down a street, when behind them, there's nothing. Where werewolves can come out of everywhere and attack them from behind.
Yeah.
And guess what? It fucking happens.
Exactly. Of course. Yeah. Then you have these guys, this militia, they get slaughtered.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I have these two people. Okay, what the fuck are we going to do now? And blah, blah, because they're waiting in front of this car. Nope. You see, like, this one werewolf, sees them, comes running up to them, jumps at them, and then it cuts back to the house where the mom...
So we're supposed to assume that bullet that was in that gun killed that werewolf.
One bullet kills the werewolf. No,
yeah.
But again, we're supposed to assume because it cuts out and he doesn't even shoot. Just the werewolf jumps at them.
And he's got the gun pointed at it, right.
That comes back to the scene where the mom and the kid are there. And still, they have all the lights on and they're like... And she's looking through all these cameras and it's like...
And by the way, she's shooting holes in her own roof.
No, yeah, exactly. That happens later. And they have like the crazy.
I know.
At this time, the crazy neighbor guy, he was shooting through the window at the werewolves. Yeah, great. If you just be quiet, nothing would happen. And then, of course, the werewolf throws a fridge through his window. And
because why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Well,
yeah.
Could have just come through the window. I mean, they've been coming through windows the entire time.
Yeah, and then he sees the moonlight and turns into a werewolf. No? Okay. Then after that, you have there's an entire group of werewolves trying to get in the house of where the mom and the kid are. No, that goes on for like a few minutes. Then, he jumps back to Wesley and non-urgency girl. No? And, okay, then you have all of a sudden, everything's okay. You don't see a dead werewolf flying around or nothing.
Right.
It's just...
Yeah, where'd the werewolf go that you just shot?
Yeah, no.
Where's the rest of the militia, by the way, too? They're all gone as well.
Okay, they're just gone or something. So okay.
They just left. They were like, well, nothing left to see her.
Yeah. Then we have to get into that car over there over there, that's behind all the werewolves.
Yeah.
And we're going to get in that car and drive away. He said, how are we going to do that? He said, no, trust me. And remember, we have to test this. I mean, test what? There has nothing been said about anything. Whatever. Okay, then you have like non-urgency girl walks up. Hey, werewolves, here I am. Blah, 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 blah. And they had like all this werewolves standing in front of her. And she just literally looks at him and screams in the werewolf's face.
Yeah, which I was very confused by.
And my first thought was, wow, that dumbass. And then the werewolf just screams at her back.
Yeah.
And does nothing. And then she runs away. And then
this is where I'm confused, because is it the eye drops that they took? Because there's a scene where they take eye drops. And we've never heard of these eye drops before.
Moonjuice, or?
I don't know. They don't fucking explain it. They don't fucking explain it. And it drives me fucking crazy, because we know that the Moonjuice, right?
Yeah.
That you put on your skin blocks the moon for an hour. You've got an hour.
Yeah,
like, they even set their timers on their watch for an hour so that you know when it wears off. Okay. So at this point, the alarm has gone off, and they realize that if they expose themselves to the moonlight, they could turn into werewolves, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently there's eye drops that we weren't told about before that you can drop in your eyes. Out of nowhere. This feels like it was shoehorned into the story.
No, they don't
drop it in your eyes, but we have no explanation of what these eye drops do.
Yeah.
No explanation. But we find out at this point when she comes face to face with the werewolf, and the werewolf looks like it wants to rip her apart, and instead she stands her ground and screams in its face. Like another wolf would do to another wolf,
Yeah.
And the werewolf doesn't do anything to her.
Yeah, okay, then she runs away to the car, to Wesley, yeah? And then shortly before she gets in the car, the werewolf decides, oh, yeah, now I'm going to kill her.
Yeah, he changes his mind last second.
Yeah, and then non-urgency girl is gone. And then Wesley gets into the car and drives off, no? I think after that point, is eventually then it cuts back to mom and kid, no?
Yeah, it's mom and the kid. She's got werewolves climbing all over the house. Because it was 1 before, now it's 4.
It's 4, yeah, exactly.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the other 3 werewolves that were in the cages at the opening scene, plus the neighbor. That's the 4 werewolves.
I mean, maybe. I'm
pretty sure, because if you go back and look, they're all wearing that gigantic neck brace that they put on them in the cages.
Okay, yeah.
So I think the other 3 werewolves that we're seeing here are specifically the ones that were in the cages at the beginning. Somehow they found their way all the way to his house, which we've already seen is like probably 20 miles away.
Yeah, right? That's stupid. That's
dumb as fuck.
I mean, down that day, I didn't even notice it at that point. I thought I at that point just thought they were just some werewolves. I didn't really.
So this is why I watch movies twice, because the first time I didn't catch that. This time I caught it, and I was like, wait a minute. So 3 of them are wearing the neck braces that they put on the werewolves at the beginning at the cages. So these 3 werewolves made it 20-something miles from that area specifically to his house where this little girl is with the mom. Why? We have no idea. But they're there. And I'm sure he's pretty shocked that they're there as well, because why would they be, right?
Yeah, okay.
Why would they fucking be there?
Then he gets... Then this is the crazy thing is, because I have like the werewolves, they take down like the electric thing, whatever, so the electric fence is gone.
Yeah, the electric fence, right.
So the werewolves have a problem jumping over a 6-foot fence. No?
Yeah, because it's not a very high fence. I'll be generous and give it 8 feet.
But they have absolutely no fucking problem climbing onto the roof.
Yeah. How?
And then they're like, then they have like the werewolves, they're like on the roof trying to get in. And you have like dumbass mom sitting there with the shotgun, like, if you guys come in here, I'm going to kill all of you. Stay out. Just leave here. Blah, blah, blah. I know what to do.
Don't forget, she's been firing this shotgun. And keep in mind, guys, we've cut through this because we've been trashing this film so much that there's things that we haven't really mentioned. But she's been on and off firing the shotgun into walls and into the ceiling and just out the window for no reason whatsoever, knowing that she has very limited ammunition.
Yes. Yeah.
Very limited ammunition. So by the time Wesley shows up to the house and there's these 4 fucking werewolves that are trying to get in, she is shooting into the roof with the rest of her ammunition that she has, hoping to hit a werewolf. By the way, the whole time she's doing this, she's shooting holes in the roof and the moonlight is coming through into the house. And what does moonlight do? Apparently to everyone.
But
it turns them into werewolves.
But she doesn't come into contact with them. No? Yeah, but she doesn't. The thing is, okay, that's one thing. And then it's just like, you have like, then eventually one werewolf manages to get in or whatever. And then they have like this thing going in.
Well, that's because he kills the other three with a car. So when he drives up.
Yeah. Wesley shows up and kills 3 werewolves.
And mows them over with his car.
With his car. And then,
which cars kill werewolves, apparently, by the way. You can kill a werewolf by hitting it with your car.
Yeah. And then in the living room, they have like this kind of cat-mouse thing going on with the werewolf until eventually the werewolf, kind of almost attacks the girl. And then the mom hits the werewolf with an axe on the head and he's dead. So then there's only like 1 werewolf left. That's the crazy.
So you can kill a werewolf by hitting it in the head with an axe as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then there's like this one crazy neighbor left. No?
The neighbor werewolf. Yeah, the ex-Marine.
Werewolf. No? And they literally say like, then Wesley shows up in the living room. Oh, is everything okay? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, you only have 15 minutes left until the sun goes up. No?
This part blows my fucking mind.
And it's like,
this is the worst kind of horror movie trope that just makes no sense because nobody, and I get it. From a horror movie standpoint, sometimes characters have to do stupid things. This is an established thing in horror movies. People make the wrong decisions. People do dumb things. And you can usually explain it away by saying everybody is losing their mind right now. They're in a state of panic. They do stupid things, right?
But
this is not one of those moments.
Nobody can panic in this stuff.
This is not one of those moments, right? Because he's not panicking. He's thinking perfectly straight.
Instead, he gives like this super motivation speech. No?
Yeah, man. It's like one of those that my commander would have given before we left out on a patrol.
To his niece, that makes absolutely no sense in the scenario. And then he decides to go out, turn into a werewolf.
Yeah.
We could kill the other werewolf.
Right. And
then himself being the danger for his sister-in-law and the kid.
Comes back in the house as a werewolf to attack.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of problems with that, right? And I just want to point this out because I don't want to skip over it, right? This is the single stupidest decision.
Yeah.
You have, Mike, you have 15 minutes. 15 minutes. You've already killed 3 werewolves. You've got 1 left, right? He's not even in the fucking house. He's outside, right? You have 15 minutes. You are a militarily trained, decently sized guy who's strong, protecting a woman and her daughter. It's a big house. It's not a tiny house. You find a spot in the house where you can hide for 15 minutes until the sun comes back out and that werewolf turns into a human being. That's what you do, right? That's what any sane person that is thinking would do. No, this guy decides, well, I got 15 minutes left and I hate that guy. So I'm going to go outside, put myself in the moonlight, turn into a werewolf and attack him. One, you don't know, because he's never turned into a werewolf, you don't know if you're going to be thinking straight when you're a werewolf.
Yeah, exactly.
So werewolves don't generally attack each other. But he's going to go outside, turn into a werewolf, and attack the other werewolf. He's assuming a lot.
Yeah.
He's assuming a lot.
Yeah,
it's a very stupid chance to take, but he does it.
I mean, but the werewolves don't attack each other. That's not necessarily the case.
No. Okay, so in your average horror film, like forget about all the extra lore and everything else in like games and video games and books.
Yeah.
In movies, they don't generally attack each other.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So he goes outside and decimates the other werewolf. Like rips his head clean off his shoulders. Like murders him. Turns right back around and comes back in the house to eat her and the daughter. Like, how did you not know that was going to happen, bro? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you didn't leave the military because you wanted to. You left because you got kicked out because you're an idiot.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. So then he does that, right? So how much time do we have left? We might have like 2 minutes before.
Exactly.
2 minutes before the sun comes back out. So he comes in and is about to attack her, and she holds up a photo of her and his dead brother and the daughter and says, "Look at them. You love them. You love us. We love you. Don't kill us." And the werewolf,
it's not really that I have a problem with it. That is the typical Wolfman scene.
Yeah.
No,
You're absolutely right.
That's like straight from Wolfman. And to a certain degree, I understand that that's done in a lot of werewolf movies.
I can give it props just as a throwback kind of thing.
Yeah, but that specific thing is done in a lot of werewolf stories.
A lot of monster movies.
Exactly.
Any changing transformation film, they usually use it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not the time.
Yeah, no.
Nothing about this movie has said, let's tug at everybody's heartstrings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing at all.
No. But it happens, and it's just enough for the sun to come back out, because she takes the remaining shotgun shell that she has, blows a hole in the window so that the sunlight comes in, and he transforms back into a human being.
Exactly.
End of the movie. Like, literally, no words spoken, no, embrace.
Yes,
that's the end of the fucking film.
There should have came something. I don't know, something like a few more minutes where they explained something.
They didn't. This whole movie is full of non-explanation. It's full of tropes and bad writing.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of time left, so I'm going to give this movie the praise that it deserves.
10 minutes left.
Okay. I'm going to give this movie the praise on the level that I can give it the praise for. Story-wise, great story, terrible execution.
Yes.
Terrible execution.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, generally, just like I agree with you, even though we've shitted on the movie the whole time, I cannot say...
By the way, we're going to do this with every film. So, don't feel bad. We're going to destroy your favorite films.
I actually liked the movie. It was pretty cool. No?
It's just it. After all the shit that we talked, I don't hate the film. I would watch it a third time.
Me too. I liked it. I really did. It's just there's
specifically because of the werewolves. The werewolves look fucking fantastic.
I already know definitely that I would not consider it to be a very good werewolf movie.
No, this is not going to go in the books as a good werewolf film.
I liked it. It's okay. And I do absolutely think it'll be enjoyable for people that are werewolf fans. No?
Yeah, if you're a werewolf fan, definitely watch this movie. Just make sure to turn your brain off and just enjoy it for what it is.
Exactly. But it's I think a lot of other normal people, specifically people that are not necessarily horror fans, they're going to see this movie and think, what the fuck is this? This is just The Purge with werewolves. That's literally what
that's immediately what I thought when I saw the preview.
Yeah, exactly.
It's The Purge with werewolves.
I just think there's a lot of these plot holes and shit not explained or whatever. It's just, the thing is, how should I explain? It's just, for me as a werewolf fan, I can automatically piece those things together. Just like with the thing with the car thing. To you, it's a stretch, of course, and to other people.
Yeah, it's a stretch, and not because I don't understand it, but because there's some things that you do as a writer to explain things away, and it may be a very good thought, but it's poorly executed.
Yeah, just like that.
And that was poorly executed.
Yeah, just like, because the thing with the werewolves making that choice, for me, it was a no-brainer, because I know from multiple other werewolf stories that there are often werewolf stories where the werewolves actually want to actively hunt something down. No?
Yeah.
So
it's the sport of it all.
Yeah, the sport, exactly. So that itself, that the werewolves did not attack them, made sense. But when they got out of the car, the two people should have said some kind of comment, oh shit, they wanted us to do that. No?
Yeah, that's all you would have had to have said, and then it would have explained everything and made that whole scene.
After she came up, and then non-urgency girl would have said, shit, they set a trap up for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been...
There's a lot of instances in this film where somebody could have said something, anything, and things would have made a lot more sense. But the writing just wasn't there, or the editing was bad, or they ran out of time, because that happens a lot of times. But just overall, the execution, the dialogue, everything, man, I'd give this film I don't know, if it were a school grade, I'd give it probably a D.
That pretty much sums it up. Yeah. That definitely. To me, and usually I also, I would also consider it a D. And I'm one of those people, if it's a werewolf movie, I usually like it, even though it's often bad. No, just like for example, a lot of people hate it, but I actually liked American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh my God, dude, the CGI in that movie ruined it for me.
It was awful.
There are so many other films where the CGI is terrible that were better than that film.
I know.
Like that movie is atrocious. The story was good.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I liked the movie.
The CGI ruined it, dude. It
for
fucking
me,
ruined it. This film, like, the only thing that would make me come back to watching this film again was the werewolves themselves, because they looked good. Like, I'm not going to say it's on the same level as maybe Dog Soldiers, werewolf-wise, but pretty damn close, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. The thing is,
they look good.
Exactly. Just like the werewolves look amazing. No, and like some of the scenes that they actually, the movies that actually like werewolves are done the best, of course, were American Werewolf in London, Dog Soldiers, and the Werewolf series from 1987.
Yeah. By the way, if we haven't already said it, please go back and watch that, guys. If you're a horror fan and you like werewolves, find a copy of that series and watch it, because it was, for its time, it was way ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
Wise, transformation-wise, it was on point, dude.
The thing is great, and the thing is, it was for me, it's one of the best werewolf shows ever made. No, and also when it comes to werewolves generally, is one of the best things made. But fun fact, you actually know that the same guy that done the practical effects for American Werewolf in London done the practical effects for that show.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Jonathan Landis.
No shit, man.
That's the guy that done the practical effects for American Werewolf. He also done the practical effects for that TV series.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense now. Okay.
Yeah.
It's odd that one's not talked about more often. Like, I think besides maybe you and one other friend, that's the only times that I've heard about it, just from you two guys. And it's done so well. The writing's done well. The acting is really good. The story is amazing. And the werewolves are fucking scary.
Exactly. It's like that was like Werewolf. That show gave me my favorite werewolf transformation ever. Like in the pilot episode where you have like Scorzini, that's like the werewolf that turns the protagonist, and he's basically after him because he wants to kill him, because he thinks if the first werewolf of his bloodline dies, it'll free him from the curse. And Scorzini, he has like the transformation is phenomenal, because first you have like him going up and he has like his wolf eyes and his teeth coming out. Then he just literally at one point just sticks his fingers in his mouth
and rips his face off.
His face off, and you have like this big black werewolf coming out.
Yeah,
amazing. It's like amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I would argue honestly, probably better of a transformation scene than American Werewolf in London, in my opinion. Like,
I mean,
I've just recently watched it again, and
American Werewolf in London, or what?
Yeah, the American Werewolf in London, that transformation scene, it was longer, for sure. It was longer, and you saw more up-close stuff. But this one, effectively, was better. The transformation.
Yeah, exactly.
It was effectively better. It's very gory and very hard to watch. And I don't feel like the American Werewolf in London transformation scene was hard to watch. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But Werewolf, that transformation scene was like brutal. I was like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh my God,
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and I've seen it again now as an adult, and I still am like, holy shit, bro. Like, wow.
Exactly. That
was like 1980, what's 83? Maybe 84?
I think it was 83, I think.
Okay.
It had to be around that time, because I was 8 when I watched it. No?
Yeah.
And I was born 82.
Okay.
And at that time, when I watched it with my grandma, that was already reruns.
I can't believe your grandma watched that with you, dude. That's fucked up.
My grandma,
Your grandma's a tough old lady, dude. Holy shit. My grandma would have been screaming if she saw that. She'd be like, "Oh shit on my TV."
My grandma was a fucking horror fanatic. She was that. My grandma was the one that got me into horror movies, because of course it's my grandma's fault that I was absolutely a hardcore fan of werewolves and vampires. But I also, when I was 8 years old, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street with my grandma.
I didn't see any of those movies until I was probably like 13 or 14. I remember Silver Bullet being my first werewolf film, but then my first like true horror film, which I think it's debatable of whether or not it's actually a horror film or not. I'm going to call it horror because it was horrifying, but the first Alien film was probably the first
it's a horror
film that I saw.
Yeah, it is a sci-fi horror.
It's sci-fi horror, but that movie scared the shit out.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, I think I was maybe, it was a year after I saw Silver Bullet, so I was probably 11. But that movie terrified me to my core, and that's why to this day I'm still a huge Alien fan. You know.
Well, Alien, I like Alien. I like the first. Actually, how should I say it? I mean, the first 4 Alien movies I actually liked, even though the 4th one was kind of goofy.
First one was awful. It was awful. We're going to do that movie, Mike. We're going to do Alien 4 because I want to fucking rip that movie to shreds.
Yeah.
Like, it's very hard to rip the other ones to shreds. Like I would have a very hard time finding fault with Alien Part 1. I think the only thing that I could say about that movie that I don't like is that there was too much taken out of the movie because they thought it was too graphic.
Yeah.
That I have a problem with. But other than that, perfect film. Aliens, the second film, also, for me, perfect film.
Yeah.
Perfect film. Alien 3 was atrocious, but that's not Alien 3's fault. That was the studio that ruined that movie.
Yeah.
But we'll do those movies. We're out of time, so we should probably tell everybody goodbye. But so we've agreed to do Skinwalkers for the next one, right?
Yeah, Skinwalkers, exactly.
Okay. So we'll do that one. I wanna if you're still listening, I'm gonna put it out there that this is not always gonna be the formula for this podcast. This is the first one, so me and Mike decided to do a film that was a recent one, and we wanted to do it together. But what we're actually going to do is, because we are in the metal scene and we have a metal band and we know a lot of people, we want to bring on different artists from different metal bands and ask them what their favorite movie is, and then watch that movie and then rip the movie apart with them. So we've already got quite a few people lined up for the next few episodes. I think everybody's going to be pretty surprised. I'm not going to say anything now, but
it's not always like every single episode is going to be like us with the guests. I mean, there are going to be multiple episodes where that's the case, but it's going to be there's going to probably be a few episodes where we have a lot of other metal musicians on as a guest. And then just a few episodes where me and Matt are just, being two stupid assholes.
Yeah. You might actually hope and pray for another musician to come on and save you from this, because it basically just turns into us piling onto this movie and beating the crap out of it, which honestly is a lot of fun. Like, there's another podcast that I listen to, which is The Horror Show with Sean and Joe, and I love those guys. And these guys have been doing that for a while, and it started with them being very nice about the movies and trying to be as nice as they could, but now it's just a free-for-all. These guys just destroy movies, and I love listening to them. And I was like, holy shit, that'd be so much fun to do that with one of my best friends who also loves horror movies like I do. So that's why we're doing this. If we don't make a penny from it, we don't give a shit. We just really want to do this, and so we hope you guys enjoy it as well. And check out the next episode. We'll be doing 1 or 2 a month, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, don't forget, 1 or 2 episodes a month on Spotify, and of course, other platforms are going to follow as well. We're still getting things set up, probably on YouTube, and the other stuff. But just shout out for new episodes, and of course, follow us. And we would actually be glad if you come back the next time. Yeah. Okay.
And maybe we'll even set up a Facebook page so you guys can tell us how terrible we are at our job.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So until next time, this is the Full Metal Horror Podcast.
Yeah. And
this is from Matt. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.